Welcome to the Emerging Professional Series at the Coffee Conversation Show powered by the Emerging India Forum TIF and a tech partner, Prime Infotech Solution. This is a special episode as we're celebrating Ganesh Chaturthi and uh, theme is Cultivating Leaders, Carlton Dsouza on HR, Inclusion and Impact. A strategic HR leader at LTI Mindtree who brings over 37 years of experience building leadership pipelines, designing inclusive workplaces, and championing women in leadership. A master practitioner of talent strategy, succession planning, and organizational transformation. Carlton has worked shoulder to shoulder with global CCO teams to align business goals with people first strategies. He is right now Senior Director at LTI Mindtree. Join us for a thoughtful and inspiring conversation as Carlton shares how he scales leadership, develops mentorship ecosystems, and infuses empathy into enterprise HR. And we also come to know Carlton as a person. So, welcome, Carlton, to today's special episode.
Thank you, Amir, and very happy to be here.
So, let me explain you. There'll be three rounds: professional, personal, and a surprise rapid fire round where you will be in the hot seat and you have to be witty, fun, and quick.
Sure.
And here's your book, which will be autographed. When we meet in person, I'll give it to you. AI
Yeah,
in Works.
sure.
Okay. So, friend of mine, Amir Virani, was a Coffee Corner legal tech evangelist at Prime Infotech Solution, author of 15 books. We help law firms, corporate legal startup, especially world-class technology, software licensing, and tech training solution. So, my first question, Carlton, how has the journey shaped up, and what were the key defining moments you had?
So, Amir, when I look back at my career that has spanned over 2 decades, I think it's never been about chasing titles or climbing ladders, to be honest. I think it was just one simple question for me in the human resources domain is just how do we unlock human potential that sits quietly today inside organizations? Now, too often we mistake people for resources, and I think the terminology has changed, and we want to call them reservoirs of possibility, or what we call human capital. I think my journey in HR has been less about policies and more about possibilities. Is that's how I look at, less about processes, more about people, and the belief that human beings are the greatest strategy that any organization has had or can have. And that has been my guiding light to every step of my leadership story.
Wow. So, let's dive deep in the conversation, Carlton.
Yeah.
How do you translate HR data and frameworks like the nine box into human centered outcomes?
I want to start with a small incident that happened. Amir, I think I once sat in a talent review where the leader was reduced to a dot in the nine box. And typically, if you've seen the nine box and where you want to plot your potential, and there were my peers in the room, and I asked them something before we could go to the CXOs. I asked them, "What do we see?" Because we're very tired. It was brain drain for that time because it's you were looking at setting up the leadership pipeline. Um, So, and many people had their own, analogies to tell you what they see in there. Uh, I just asked them one question. I said, "Do you see the human behind it?" I said, "I know the nine box is what the nine box tells you about the, potential and the performance that has happened, but does it actually tell you who they are?" you know the real magic happens when you actually take these numbers and you actually turn these numbers into narratives. So data starts the conversation, but I think empathy finishes it.
Wow, beautiful.
Yeah.
So, Carlton, what moment in your career made you feel you were truly stepping into leadership?
So while there were many, I think the recent one that I could think about is the merger that happened, and I was part of that particular merger. Now, when you look at these mergers that happen, you're not dealing with just normal associates or people in the organization. You're dealing with leaders. You're dealing with the board, and I think one defining moment that set me apart is when people, hundreds of people look up to you and they ask you, is Carlton, what's next? We look up to you. I think that's been a defining moment for me. That transforms me just not into a person that's going to get work done, but actually showing the way for people and for leaders around you. And they really look up to you.
Wow. Okay. So, Karan, according to what's the biggest challenge when aligning talent development with long-term business strategy?
I think, businesses, you and I know that they think in quarters. What is the performance this quarter and next quarter? What do you see in half yearly reviews, etc.? But talent, Amir, grows in decades. It's like this, it's not a sprint, it's an orchard. You plant the seeds today, you'll only get the fruit. If you want the fruit tomorrow, you need to plant trees today. So it takes time to develop. And, it's just not made in any classroom or any B school. They have to go through the grind. They have to go to get that experience to actually do that. And I think that's one of the key challenges that today organizations face in aligning talent with strategy also.
Yes, agreed. So, Carlton, you have built mentorship frameworks at scale. What makes a mentorship program truly effective?
See, when I was working in earlier in my career, and I think there was an engineer I was working with, this person never seen himself as a leader. He was a subject matter expert, but he had that leadership capabilities in him where no one, ever even, spoke about, or no one ever explored. With a bit of mentoring that I started then with him, and I got a very senior leader in the organization and in the industry to partner with this person. This individual went on to lead global teams across 3 continents.
Wow.
Amen. And I think that experience taught me that leadership is not born in boardrooms. I think it's only discovered when someone sees your potential that you don't see about in yourself. And 3 things you need to, take care in mentorship. One is clarity. Second is chemistry. And third, and the most important thing, is continuity. So clarity of purpose is always required. Chemistry between the mentor and the mentee is required. And the most important is what continuity of support you're giving them to actually take this forward.
Wow. So, Carlton, what are the key elements involved for change management at an organization involving different stakeholders?
Yeah. So change management, everything is change that you see around. But I think there are 3 things that align. One is a shared story. That's important. And that shared story should inspire. That's key to a shared story. Second is leaders that model that specific story. And the third and the most important thing is systems. If you don't have systems that reinforce it, then change it won't be seen at all. Change does not happen when people are pushed. It happens only when they're pulled by a vision they believe in. And that is what I truly believe.
Wow. See, in your introduction, I read about succession planning. So,
Yeah.
what are the key elements for business succession planning, as read about how Ratan Tata did? But from a general point of view,
Yeah.
what are the key elements for a good business succession planning?
See, for succession planning, it's not about having an inventory of people, Amir. It's all about fueling potential. And today's real strategy in succession planning is just about not managing that job or that role, but is actually in unleashing the skill. So, are you able to develop that agile leader or that potential that you have into unleashing the skills that today organizations face? You need to be agile in everything that you do. Today, I cannot get a leader and say he can only do sales. As an example, the guy needs to also be able to be have domain specific or have that knowledge. So he should have that knowledge, which is 1 inch thick, according to me, but 15 kilometers wide. And that is how you're able to, you'll be able to groom such people. And That while that being said, I think for the individual, for people who are aspiring to be leaders, my recommendation to them is do not restrict yourself to one domain. AI is breaking that in bits and pieces. And come tomorrow, you'll have your great grandchildren that will know AI like ABC, where today we are grappling with so much of information around us. So I think that's what I look at.
Wow, beautiful. So, Carlton, what advice would you give to aspiring leaders about handling setbacks or failure?
Yeah, I think clarity for leaders is first of all lead with clarity. That's the first thing. If you don't have clarity, don't go. You will not get that seat at the table. That's one very, very clear thing. The second is you deliver with compassion. Yeah. So clarity will earn you that respect. Compassion will earn you that trust. But together, they will make you unstoppable.
Wow, beautiful. So, Carlton, how do you measure the impact of women in
Yeah.
leadership initiatives beyond metrics?
See, I remember when I was doing this women leadership program, and this leader, the woman leader, actually came to me and said that, you know, she said this program gave me permission to use my voice at the table. That was a redefining moment for me. The real measure of success is when someone actually reclaims their confidence and their identity as a leader. But I think the impact is when, Amir, when women who actually are in these positions and when they claim their seat at the table, the true ROI or the ROE is seen when they actually bring more women to the table. And I think the culture or the mindset shift should be is that from we need women leaders to we can't imagine not having women leaders.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, Carlton, what's one change leadership behaviors need to adopt in the post-pandemic world and to go for he should be that behavior adaptable for the next 20 years?
I think one thing doesn't change as a leader when you grow in size and volume is humility, Amir. And I think I said that earlier, is because when you grow up, when I read this quote somewhere. It says, when you when you raise your standard of living, also raise your standard of giving. That's important. And in humility, you seek that. And it's about John Maxwell also. I read his books. It's about servant leadership, servant
Mhm.
and leadership. That they're two things apart. But when you have servant leadership means you start doing it for or start emulating those behaviors that your team or your organization wants to see in a specific leader to take it forward. So humility is key.
Wow. So, Carlton, what's changed most in talent strategy since you started 3 decades ago?
So I think what's changed in talent strategy is I think I spoke about time. Time is a luxury, but business thinks in quarters and talents go into decades. But I'm sorry, but for the talent strategy to evolve, I think people need to diversify in the skills that they have at this point of time. The reason being because I think in the IT, I can talk about in the IT industry, having one skill or one software knowledge will not get you apart. Because today, when clients come to you with a whole barrage of asks that they have, right from their own customers to their internal systems to the internal technologies that keep disrupting a lot of things. So I think you can't do well with one. And I think the strategy for people to follow is upskilling or reskilling your particular workforce to get into the game.
Wow. So now technology, AI, gamification is impacting.
Yeah.
Uh, what trends do you see for talent development, leadership? A good leader like you, What trends do you see in this?
So I think the people connect cannot be missed out. I can today's technology is tomorrow's junk, etc. But my connect with people, going back to office, speaking with my team, speaking with cross teams, collaborating with them, talking to leaders, talking to clients, talking to their customers will not ever change. I think you need to see AI. I can make this interview an AI interview, right? We can create that. But like we said, having that AI voice there will not do good if you don't hear my voice in person and feel real about the conversations that we are having. So that's my perspective.
Beautiful. So, if you could share one mantra with young HR professionals, what would it be?
Well, I wouldn't call it a mantra, but I think I would just say is again that, lead with clarity, folks. Because I think when you go to any meeting, a small meeting with two people or with a large meeting, if you don't have clarity, you don't have your objective clear, and you don't have that passion seen within you, and you go in there only with a tick mark item, I have to complete this meeting, you will not earn that respect and you will not earn that trust. So I think leading with clarity and delivering with compassion, together they make you unstoppable. So I think leaders, budding leaders need to look at that.
Beautiful. So, Carlton, in your view, what
Hmm.
separates an HR leader from an organizational strategist?
See, an HR leader no, will manages people. Okay, purely. It's the people game that we are into. But I think an organization strategist, he'll shape the possibilities. See, the difference is between playing chess and actually designing the entire game. So as HR folks or any leaders, you don't just manage talent. You have to create that ecosystem or architect that ecosystem that actually will get your organization up there. That's important.
Beautiful. So, let's go to the next round and understand Carlton as a person.
Yeah.
Tell us about your family and your formative years.
So married since the last 21 years, have two kids, aged, boy and a girl, aged 19 and 14 respectively. Uh, and, for me, it's been, first time I'm a father, right? Like the first time I'm also a senior director in my organization. And I think learning never stops, be it at personally or professionally, it doesn't stop. And first time I'm managing a 19-year-old, seeing the tantrums vis-a-vis my daughter who's a teen, managing those tantrums. I mean, it's learning for me. I can shoot off a mail and get things calmed down, but घर पे ऐसा नहीं चलेगा. It doesn't work like that.
Yes, agreed. Okay. So, Carlton, what's your go-to way to recharge over the weekend?
I think, get off your gadgets, just go for a long drive, go by the beach. You like a mountain, go by a hill station nearby, whatever you see. Get off the gadgets completely, detox. That's important because, come with the gadgets, you have a lot of lifestyle diseases that have cropped up. So don't get into that at all. And like you said, Amir, yourself, you walk, just go for a walk, learn about things around you. I think that's important. Connect with people. That will get you recharged.
Beautiful. So, which is a childhood memory which brings a smile to your face instantly?
I think, when you go to your grandparents' house, I'm from the South, and when you go to their homes, and even today when I go to those homes, having those fruits and the summer season to eat mangoes and jackfruits and whatnot, coconuts, uh, I don't think so I can relive, I mean, have those memories back. Because today, when you take your kids and when you go, you yourself are used to your gadgets, checking those mails and all. I think those memories with the neighbors' kids taking you to the pond to fish in the afternoon time and early evening time, I think I'll give anything to relive those memories of it.
Wow. So, do you have a personal hobby that surprises people?
Uh, you know, I like to cook. I find it therapeutic more than a task, and it's not
Oh,
about cooking things or a strategy in the in the organization, but it's also cooking at home that people really find it surprising. And I like to try all kinds of dishes. Nothing puts me off, and like to experiment with that. That's my side of it.
Wow. So which is Carlton's signature dish?
So I think if you ask me to cook, it would be biryani. uh,
Mhm.
and mutton biryani never, no one can beat that. But personally, if you ask me, I think I like a shawarma. Of course, making it at home is a little bit of a task, but I think that's my go-to dish.
Wow. So if your friend had to describe you in three words, what would it be?
I think simple, loud laughter, and no gadgets is what you said. It's very aversive when I'm in office, but that's how it is.
So Carlton, suppose you had 1 week away from work, away from the gadgets.
Yeah.
What would you do and why?
I think for me, it would be, go on a simple trek and start building something which you've never built. So
Wow.
if you ask me to go to a forest, I think rather than taking a tent, I would take a tent, of course, but I would start building a small shelter for myself. And that
Mhm.
would actually teach me the life skills that I haven't learned in all this while. How do I actually live in a world which is not by cement and by bricks?
Beautiful. So my last three questions will be reflective ones.
Hmm.
What legacy would you like to leave behind?
So I think the legacy of you know doing the right thing, Amir, is always very critical. And I think one person that comes to my mind is Ratan Tata, Sir Ratan Tata. That he could have been the who's who of India today, which he is. But I think the legacy, going back to say a Tata, when I went to stay also in the Taj, was not because there were not many five-star hotels around Mumbai, but I think the trust, the brand, and the image created by that gentleman and his family has. I don't think so. It can even you'll have to wait decades to get a leader like that ever.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. So who has been your biggest cheerleader from your family and friends?
So I think my biggest cheerleader, I wouldn't say one person, but it's together. It's my family. It's my spouse, my daughter to begin with, my son also. But daughters always close to the fathers, and fathers always close to the daughters. But I think whenever my day has not been good, and I come and I discuss it with them because it's important, right? You don't have to keep it hidden within yourself. And the most important that I like to tell fathers and parents and spouses is, you know, discuss mental well-being.
Hmm.
Very, very important. You will be managing a $500 million account or right up to a 50 lakh account, and that's fine, or even a 5 lakh account business. But your mental well-being will actually get you a long way. So recite every time back on your family. See, friends are always there around you, but your family are the ones that will stay besides you no matter what.
Beautiful. So my last one is a googly one.
Yeah.
Describe Carlton in one line.
So I don't know. I think humor. That's how my spouse looks at me. I have dry humor. That's how she likes it. But I find my grounding in that. Amit. That's what I say.
Wow. So let's put you in the hot seat, the rapid fire round.
Yeah.
Uh, One word that describes your leadership philosophy.
Resilient.
Fiction or business memoirs.
Business members.
You're an early bird or a night owl.
I'm an early bird. Morning brings out the best in me.
One habit that keeps you grounded.
I think just tell the truth, no matter what.
Wow. Your favorite color.
I go with white.
Wow. Your go-to comfort food.
I told you, shawarma. I like shawarma. I can eat all different types of shawarma.
Wow. Best piece of advice received.
I think best advice received is Never look down on anyone,
Mhm.
be it in office or back anywhere. Those people teach you a lot of lessons.
Beautiful. Tea or coffee to recharge?
Coffee. I'm
I
a
have the
coffee
coffee
person,
now.
actually. Yeah.
Pleasure is.
Yes.
And you did well, Carlton. And here's your book.
Thank
We'll meet
you.
in person. So
Yeah.
that is, we are meeting very soon.
Yeah.
So, so Carlton, uh, you remind us leadership isn't just about managing teams or meeting KPIs. It's
Mm.
about shaping cultures, nurturing talent, and creating spaces where people can thrive. From scaling women in leadership initiatives to weaving mentorship into the DNA of organization, your journey shows that the future of HR is deeply human, even in the age of automation and analytics. Whether you're a young professional stepping into your first leadership role or a seasoned executive looking to deepen your impact, Carlton's insights are a masterclass in aligning heart and strategy. Subscribe to the Coffee Conversation Show, where there are 5+ coffee speakers sharing their professional, personal journey, insights. Follow and implement in your life. There will be a dramatic change. And if you want to be featured like Carlton, visit our website, the Emerging India Forum or LinkedIn page, and we invite you to continue the conversations over a cup of coffee. Thank you.
Thank you.